More More Jump is a subunit in Project Sekai. The group consists of Minori Hanatado, a girl with unlimited hope, Haruka Kiritani, a famous idol with a fin for penguins, Ari Momoy, and Shizuko Hinamori, who is the Merriam-Webster definition of an airhead. Just look it up. Along with them, the two main vocaloids are Miku and Rin. The group started off with some really good designs. The outfits all look different and cohesive at the same time, with each outfit showing their respective color. I mean, gosh, these designs were practically perfect. I wonder how they stepped up their game and did it for the third anniversary. Oh, that's, okay. The third anniversary designs aren't horrible. At least they aren't wearing meat dresses, right? Oh, am I kidding? These designs are a massive downgrade from when the game first released. The overwhelming blue completely drowns out Haruka and Shizuku's natural colors while overwhelming the little splash of color Minori and Airi have. Thankfully, I'm here to help. But Cosmo, you may be asking, how will you do that? Don't worry, I have answers. The first and most prominent thing in my redesign is that they will be very similar to Magical Girls. I don't really know how one of you already figured out my love for this genre, but I might as well just dive in. The second thing is that I want their main color to be incredibly prominent with hints of green. And speaking of which, I will be changing the color of one of them, so stay tuned. The third thing that all of these characters will have is an angel and a plant motif, since angels and plants both represent hope for the future, which is a big part of More More Jump in their story. The fourth and final thing is that I made their hair colors all natural. I don't know why this happened, I don't have an extreme reason, it just kind of happened. Anyways, with that all out of the way, let's get on to the video. The main story of More More Jump begins with Minori Hanatsada, the soon-to-be leader of the group. Minori has wanted to be an idol ever since she first saw Haruka Kiritani on TV. See, the day that Minori first saw the brunette, she was super depressed about her luck and skills. However, when Haruka said her iconic line, "Tomorrow will always be a better day," Minori was filled with hope. Ever since then, she worked incredibly hard in order to become an idol as well. This dream followed her into high school, despite her failing 50 whole auditions. I don't understand how she even got that many, yet alone stuck with her dream, but good for her. Throughout it all, Haruka has been her main source of motivation. But Project Sekai characters can't have lives as simple as that. As it's later revealed, Haruka quit her group Azran under the guise that she wanted to focus on her studies. Spoiler alert, that's not it at all. Minori is disheartened by this information, but she continues anyway. Besides, even if her idol quit, she now went to her school. Freshly crippled by lesbianitis, Minori is determined to become an idol more than ever. Along the way, Minori meets Ari Momoy, a former idol/reality TV star, and Shizuko Hinamori, the center of Cheerful Days. They butt heads for a little bit, but eventually the two promise to help Minori practice. Anyways, blah blah blah, they stumble to the stage Sekai and question if they've been dry, blah blah blah, average Tuesday. It is worthwhile to note that when the virtual singers, perform, the glow sticks turn blue, which then alludes to Haruka secretly being an emo. Also, just to avoid being repetitive, I'm going to just come out and say what happened between Ari and Shizuku since it comes up a fair bit. Basically, they both used to be in the same agency. However, Shizuku was more popular, seemingly because of her looks, but the agency put her on stage more than the rest of the group, making them all insanely jealous. All the while, Ari was pushed off the stage and onto reality TV because she just wasn't meant to be an idol. This made both girls really sad. The end. Anyways, this is all to say that eventually, Ari and Shizuku fight, with Ari being just as jealous and spiteful as the rest of Cheerful Days. This fight leads to Shizuku quitting her group and making Ari incredibly guilty. When Ari realizes what she did, she goes to throw hands with Shizuku's agency. Afterwards, Ari convinces Shizuku to be an idol with her. This means that 75% of the group has found their true feelings. I wonder how the other 25% is doing. Okay. Well, thankfully, Haruka's bestie Mai is here to help cheer her up. So maybe, perhaps, Haruka may have pushed her best friend so hard that her vocal cords were damaged and she had to give up her dream, but yeah, that's rough. I don't know if we can save this. Is what I would say if Minori wasn't here. Minori decides that, along with Airi and Shizuku, she's going to perform in the stage Sekai for Haruka. They all prepare, and by the time they perform, they're so locked in. Minori helps Haruka on stage, and Night Court's extra member finally realizes that she wants to be an idol. Yay! With everyone's feelings discovered, the song Newly Edgy Idols is formed. They decide to form an idol group called More More Jump together, and all is well. The end. I love the More More Jump story, honestly. More More Jump isn't my favorite group, but they're definitely up there. It always fills me with so much hope just watching Minori be herself. Anyways, on to the designs I've been doing in the background. As I said previously, I want them to all look like magical girls. For Miko and Ren especially, I want them to look like the legendary or upgraded forms of the magical girls. To put it in terms of heart catch pretty clear, because I am so cool, Miko would be like your flower, while Ren would be the super silhouette form. In addition to this, I also want to highlight the angel motif I have, which is why Miko's hair is the way it is. Anyways, let's move on to our first human member, Minori Hanatsato.
夢はきっとみのりんね
Minori was probably the hardest for me to redesign. It wasn't anything about her specifically, but she was the first one I did and I had no clue what I was doing. I also struggled a lot with the pose, so if it looks wrong, no it doesn't. You're just seeing fades. I've always admired Minori a lot. When I first read the main story a year or two ago, it genuinely changed my life. I wasn't Nightcore levels of hopeless, but the story gave me so much hope and inspired me to not give up. Minori failed over 50 auditions before she formed More More Jump, and she never gave up. I don't know how she did it, but she's so full of hope and I love her. The only thing I don't like about her is her voice. No hate to her voice actor, of course, but her voice is pretty high-pitched, so I couldn't really watch the stories with the audio on. Anyways, I drew a lot of inspiration from the Pretty Cure franchise with her design. The torso area is based off Smile Pretty Cure, and the waist bows are based off Doki Doki Pretty Cure. And a lot of the shoes I drew were also based off numerous other seasons. Her design in the game isn't really that bad. I really like her first design, and the third anniversary doesn't look as bad as it could. Since her main color is orange, it contrasts the blue nicely, unlike Haruka and Shizuku. For my design, though, I actually drew more inspiration from the movie designs. The film managed to showcase their colors a lot better in those. For Minori, it isn't too obvious since her hair is natural either way, but I decided to make all the human girls' hair natural. I know you can still dye your hair in the Product Sekai universe, but this is my design and I do as I please. Regardless, I made Minori's hair more brown to contrast her outfit a bit more. In addition to this, I also made her hair silhouette resemble angel wings. After I figured out what I was going to do with the rest of the design, the colors just came easily. Anyways, let's move on to Minori's Minori's platonic queerbait friend, Haruka Kiritani.
みんなで行こう遥か未来に
Haruka is my baby. She is not my favorite in the whole game, but she and Minori are tied considering More More Jump. Once again, I haven't read all the stories, so if it turns out that she bombed a hospital, I take it all back. But in the main story, she's really great. I love how the writers wrote her, and personally, while I've never struggled with anything that she has, I still cared so much when I realized what was happening. Also, I recently read that one story where Haruka and An go to Phoenix Wonderland with their respective girlfriends, platonic partners, and I really loved how Haruka interacts with people outside of her group. It was a really cute event, so I encourage you all to check it out. In the same way that Minori's 50 failed auditions amaze me, Haruka's discipline and athleticness are also incredible. Like, what do you mean she runs almost every day and is really strong and controls what she eats and just... I wouldn't be able to function, but she does it all with a smile. Because of her athletic nature, I made her body more muscular and also tanner, since I think she would be out in the sun more than the others. I wanted her design to be more similar to Minori since of their heaviest connection. Now so Shizuku, because they both have the most experience. For example, Haruka and Minori both have their waist bows on the right, and they also both have clover earrings. You haven't seen Shizuku yet, so I won't spoil too much, but they also both have their angel sleeve thing off to the side, a glove, and an angel wing trail thing on their sides. I didn't really change much outside of her outfit. I already mentioned this before, but I don't like the 3rd anniversary designs. The most I changed on my design in regards to Minori's is that I made her hair black with a bluish tint, and I also changed her eyes to be gray, since I don't like it when characters have the same hair and eye colors. Now that Haruka's out of the way, let's move on to the next girl, Airi Momoi.
今日もみんなに愛をデリバリー
Airi is the token tsundere of the group, and if I had to compare her to any other character, it would be Natsuki from Doki Doki Literature Club. Unlike DLC, however, her friends aren't crazy, and her home life is good, or so we think. Airi is the first one to join Minori in her quest to becoming an idol. Unlike Haruka and Shizuku, while she had been an idol in the past, she wasn't nearly as successful. In fact, her managers kept taking her out of the idol biz in favor of having her be a reality TV star. Part of this is because of her personality that's better fit for TV, I guess, but I think, and think is in all caps here, that it may have been because she isn't stereotypically pretty like the others. I don't remember where I heard this from, but I think it is slash would be a good part of her character. It's not really seen in the game since they all kind of look the same, but I kind of wanted to show it in my design. Now, everyone is pretty. I just wanted her, and I really did want her to look somewhat like the original, but I wanted her to look unstereotypically pretty, I guess. In my design, her nose is bumpier and she has brown eyes, and just to be clear, this is based on what's stereotypically pretty. Everyone is pretty regardless of your nose shape or your eye color, and I actually find these traits to be really pretty myself. This is all stereotypical because the idol world is very conformative. I do not subscribe to these beliefs. Don't cancel me. As for her outfits, I wanted to keep her iconic crop top, because how couldn't I? I made the center bow similar to Minari's, and her waist bow matches Shizuku's. She also has the angel wings fane on the back of her design, which, if you haven't realized, is supposed to show how the three of them have experience while Minari doesn't. However, Iris is a bit different because her experience is also different from Haruka and Shizuku's. Finally, I changed her hair. It's brown instead of pink, and I got rid of the layered pigtails. I think they're cute, but they just don't really make sense to me. Plus, it makes her silhouette more round, which contrasts her sharper personality. Anyways, it's time for Irie's wife and the final character, Shizuka Hinamori.
ひとしずくの幸せ。
Irie is the most airheaded person in the game, and I just love her for it. She's just like me. I also really love her dynamic with Irie in the main story. For her design, I was more so just meshing together elements, honestly, from the previous girls than doing anything unique, but it looks somewhat cohesive, so hopefully you can forgive me. Speaking of things I need forgiveness for, though you might have noticed, if you were paying attention, that I haven't quite gone to the character whose color I changed. And if you passed second grade, you probably now realize it's Shizuku. Now, before you all strap me onto different horses and let them just run and pull me apart, let me explain. I don't like how there are two characters of the same color, and yes, there are two different shades of blue, but they're still blue in the end. I think it'd be better for instant recognition along with just general contrast to change the color. I didn't change Haruka's blue because to me it just fit her better, but then what color did I choose, and why? Well, at first, I wanted to lean into the green undertones of her original. That way she would resemble Shiho more and there would be a bit more of a difference, right? Right? The problem with that is that the main color of More More Jump is green, and if anyone should be green, it would be Minori. So, with green out of the picture, what did I go with? What could I have possibly chosen to sum up her whole character? And it's purple. I chose purple. There weren't really that many characters in the game who were purple, and she's also seen wearing it in a few of her cards. I also like how it gives her more of a royal look, since she has the quote-unquote queen of her last group. And before you Shizuku lovers think you're safe, I made her hair blonde to fit into her stereotypically pretty role. I'm really sorry for all the changes I made, but it had to be done. At least I kept her mole, right guys? That totally makes up for changing everything. Don't kill me. Anyways, with Shizuku done, all the designs are complete. I really enjoyed drawing them all and leaning into the genre I've loved ever since I was a kid. Seeing them all together sparks a different kind of joy in me, and I hope you all feel the same. Bye! Thank you guys so much for sticking around till the end, and thank you for all your support. I know the numbers might not look big to you, but to me they mean everything. Let me know if you have any ideas or critiques, and I'll see you all next time. Remember, tomorrow will always be a better day. Bye!